Right. Hey everyone, I'm Clue. So, a little bit different today. I wanted to show off what complete optimized draw looks like in Flesh and Blood, just with the generic package that is available to every single class. Now, the first thing you might notice is, for one, I have more than 60 cards. Yeah. So, big thing about the draw in Fab is it's 1 to 2 usually, right? So, all the draw engines, they consume a big portion of your deck. And what's actually brought this about is Margin Bay did a wonderful competition for Kano max damage with a legal constructed deck against the practice dummy. So for instance, practice dummy does 2 damage a turn. So at minimum, you'd have 15 rounds to set up and execute. And that was a ingenious parameter to attach to this type of thought. And then from that, the winner, How to Typo, ended up also showcasing 106 million damage, right, in a fully optimized combo. But basically, I know, and I've looked into a lot of different ways to increase draw, increase hand size, and do a lot of different things in Fab, because I've always been at it for the kooky, right? And what I ended up settling on in terms of what I have put out on my channel is stuff that is more manageable, is the sense we'll go with. It's still insane, don't get me wrong, but it's not like Tunic Stalling to be able to play a tome every 3 turns, right? And squeeze the maximum value out of that, or use it in conjunction with gold, or anything like that, where it would take an excessive amount of turns that realistically isn't ever going to be applicable. For instance, with the Riptide deck, again, devil's advocate, if everything was completely just all the stars aligned and your deck was stacked the way I had shown, well, then all of that would be executable in a singular turn, right? And that's a big distinction for me, because I want to stick to something that's insane, but technically or feasibly possible. But regardless, right? Since I do have the list, right, of what to do, I thought we'd show off optimized draw and how big exactly you can get your hand, because that is very impactful for Kano, and we'll go a bit more into detail about Kano afterwards. But starting off, for anyone who didn't know, Talishar has a manual mode, right? So you can enable it here in the settings. What this allows you to do is draw through your entire deck, which is very useful, and also set a negative pitch, which is also super useful, because what this means is, for instance, if I click Seer Stone, that requires 3. If I have a negative pitch, I can pitch away my entire hand, and then I can stack it exactly how I want to show off whatever I'm trying to show off, or to test whatever I'm trying to test. So if you do like this side of Fab, right, it's definitely something very useful to know of and to utilize, because it is a wonderful tool if you don't have the physical cards to, again, set things up and, like dominoes, just play everything correctly and in order. So I'm gonna stack the deck, and then we'll go over exactly how we are optimizing the draw. Okay, fingers crossed that I've done that correctly. I'm also gonna just up my HP, just to make sure we survive. I just picked Melody because, well, I like Melody. I should have probably just done Kano. Anyway, so we're going to let the damage through for the first one. That's fine. And then we're going to set up some items. And basically we have like 3 stages, right? Item and gold generation, intellect generation, and then draw. So starting off, we have Amulets of Assertiveness. And the name of the game is essentially how do we convert this into draw? So Amulet of Assertiveness being in play, right? And an item means we can use this off of another attack to basically get a free additional attack or a free additional draw card in the case of Coast Commotion or Snatch, since both of them draw, meaning every Amulet of Assertiveness is technically a +1 draw. Energy Potions, also just in general, useful to have, so we might as well set that up. And next we're going to set up some Amulets of Oblation to make sure that no attacks enter the graveyard, and that way we can benefit from Nourishing Emptiness. Now, if we weren't going for gold generation, you wouldn't technically need this line, but gold generation in conjunction with Tunic is still incredibly useful, so we are going to show this off as well. So we'll put the 3 Amulets into play, and we'll get the prompt for the Energy Potion every single time. And I know I could go into settings and change that, but it's not worth it in the long run, since we'll need them. Okay, so another hit, and we're going to set up the Time Snap Potion, and then we're going to Arsenal a card. And making sure that we have a card in the Arsenal is also going to effectively increase our hand size, right? Because we get 1 extra card as long as we're in the Arsenal, because we draw 1 back. So nice and simple, put the Time Snap into play, and then load up the Performance bonus. And then after that, we're basically going back and forth. So Performance bonus with 3 Money Where Your Mouth Is into a pitch, into again another performance bonus and time snap, where we can arsenal one and then put the time snap into play. So I'm probably just going to fast forward past that, or skip it entirely, right? So again, nice and simple, Money Where Your Mouth Is, Titanium Bubble. Let it resolve, it enters the graveyard, meaning that the Amulets of Oblation are now active, so we can play all 3, and we can oblate the performance bonus blue, so it's still pitchable, in case of Seer Stone, right? And make sure it does not enter the graveyard. So we do that, we wager, and then we oblate it. Nice and simple. It hits, we get some gold, 4 gold in fact, right? And it didn't enter the graveyard, so I'm just going to do that 2 more times. Alright, and there's a third, so we've generated a nice stack of 12 gold, which will be useful in the end, right, again, to cheese it out with the Fairytale Spring Tunic. Basically, the usual gist is 3 gold gets you 1 extra card, right? You pitch 2 blues, you use 3 gold, you draw 3, so that's +1. Or, in the case of Tunic, you can get that down to 2 gold, right? Because with the 1 resource, you only have to pitch 1 card, but you get to play 2 gold, meaning that every 2 gold is positive 1 card. So it is very useful if, again, you are stalling for 3 turns every single time, or doing stuff in between, which is another thing to also think about, right? For instance, setting up any of the items can be done in between Tunic, charge generation, and there's lots of ways to take this further, in essence, but it is still, again, for my taste, too unrealistic, even more so than what I usually do. But we also have a slightly less optimal line coming up, but I didn't want to just waste another turn generating more gold. So High Striker, right, for cash-ins to generate enough copper. We're going to play it with Pursuit of Knowledge. The optimal thing to do would be to have another turn of performance bonus or gold generation, right? There's no more copies of Money Where Your Mouth Is, but you could do performance bonus into a performance bonus with 2 High Strikers, right? And then that's at least 2 more gold or 1 extra draw. So keep that in mind, but we'll put the Energy Potion out, and again, very important, we will arsenal a card, in this case the Pursuit of Knowledge. It doesn't really matter, we're gonna play everything in hand regardless. Right, so Tusk, take out damage. We then get to High Strike it twice. Use an Energy Potion, since it costs 2. And then play the Pursuit of Knowledge to increase our Intellect by 1. So this is the first little bit of Intellect gain, as well as some copper gain. And we will then break the chain and allow us to Memorial Ground the Pursuit of Knowledge, again keeping our graveyard free of attacks for Nourishing Emptiness, but also allowing us to return the Pursuit of Knowledge and continue to stack up that Intellect bonus. So we'll pass, we will arsenal the other Pursuit of Knowledge, and basically being able to arsenal that Pursuit of Knowledge is why we had to use an Energy Potion. If we had a card to pitch, right, then we wouldn't be able to arsenal a card with the High Striker. So again, optimally you could have saved one Energy Potion, which is more relevant in terms of Kano or some other sort of decks, but generally speaking, it is better to have the extra card draw than the Energy Potion, if that makes sense, right? Because Energy Potion is only 2 resources, an extra card in hand is a potential 3 resources. So, now with our 5 cards in hand, we can double Pursuit of Knowledge, and then we can also use even bigger than that to draw our Nourishing Emptiness, as well as create a Quicken token, which is very important, so that we can time snap effectively. So basically, Pursuit of Knowledge does 4, Nourishing Emptiness is 6, so even bigger than that hits it, as long as we play this between the hit resolution of the 2 Pursuit of Knowledge, but after, right, so that we don't pop the Quicken token, after we've played both of them. So it's a little bit nuanced, which is quite nice, but we will activate 1 time snap potion. We'll also activate the Tunic, so that we only have to pitch 1 card to play both. Then we will play the first Pursuit of Knowledge, pitch the Titanium Bubble. We will let this one hit, because we have the action points, right? We get to play the other one, so that's hit. So now we can play Pursuit of Knowledge, but before it resolves, so once it's here on the chain, we can then play even bigger than that, meaning that we've only done 4 damage to our opponent, so we can keep Nourishing Emptiness on the top, we draw it, we create a Quicken token, but because this is already in play, we do not pop the actual Quicken token, which was very impactful because we need it to then chain together the Nourishing into 3 Pursuit of Knowledge. So we will end our turn by playing the 2 Memorial Grounds before I forget, and I always get, I don't trust it sometimes, so we'll let that resolve, right? It should put Pursuit of Knowledge because it's the only option, perfect. Right, and then we can arsenal the Nourishing Emptiness. And then in hand, we have 3 Pursuits of Knowledge, right? 1 Quicken, 2 time snaps, so that connects everything perfectly. Then we also have 2 bubbles for 6, meaning we do have to use 1 more energy potion since we're at 8 cost. And then this will up our intellect to 8, right? And then we have to maintain that hand size. So we'll take our damage, and then we will pop 1 time snap potion, followed by another time snap potion, followed by 1 more energy potion. And then we can go Nourishing first, since again, there are no attacks in the graveyard, meaning it has that second clause. If this hits, your hero gains +1. So we will let that hit. It uses the Quicken token to have go again, allowing us to then play the other Pursuits of Knowledge. We will pitch our bubble, deal our damage, gain our intellect, and follow it up with 2 more. Nice and simple, pitch, and again maintain 1 card so that we can arsenal it effectively, so that we maintain the maximum card size, hand size, card number. Card number is what we'll call it, right? So again, 4 plus intellect now. Pass. We get to arsenal the snatch, and then we draw 8 cards, right? So now we have to loop snatch, coax, and even bigger than that. And this I do have everything mapped out, but you know, there's theory and then there's practice. So we will hopefully make sure I've thought about this correctly. But basically, we need to jumpstart by having the Quicken token. So we want to play snatch. That in itself will draw a card and deal damage. Let do damage. Even bigger than that shouldn't prompt till afterwards, in actuality, right? So that draws a titanium bubble. We can then use even bigger than that. That will draw us another card. So ripple away. Perfect. It's more damage than the blue snatch, right? So we're still maintaining the same hand size. 4, 4 plus 1. We can then pass. And we can arsenal the Coax Commotion. Importantly, we now have a Quicken. So we get hit by the Tusk. We can then play the Quicken, which will use, play the Coax, which will then use the Quicken and generate another Quicken, allowing us to chain together attacks. So this is where the Amulet of Assertiveness comes in handy, since we do have the hand size, because you need more than 4. So we'll play the Coax Commotion. It will consume the Quicken, have go again, and then we can Amulet 3 times. Get 2 more Coaxes, and finally 1 Snatch. And each Coax, we're going to be able to create another Quicken and draw a card, allowing us to continue the chain going. So again, uses the Quicken. It will hit. When it resolves, Quicken and draw. Finally, another Coax Commotion. Into, lastly, a Snatch. So we've converted all 3 Amulets of Assertiveness into extra card draw using this strategy. In fact, we had 1 more Quicken than necessary. It's still optimal, right? +3, because again, the amulets are the max draw. So now what are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards in hand. And we get to arsenal something, so we'll arsenal the tome, and that way we can recover each time. But now is basically just playing out the usual draw of any deck. So we will pass. Arsenal a tome. And this is where things get a little bit too cheesy for my liking, in all honesty. But we can use the Tunic to generate a free resource, meaning we don't have to pitch anything into the tome. We can then play the tome, we get our life back, we then pass, and put another tome in the arsenal, and basically wait 3 more turns so that we can do that over and over again. And then the same with strategic planning. This is where, again, you can just take it to insanity, because if we strategic planning, again, using 3 cycles, we can recycle our Tome of Ferendale over and over and over again, right? So we'll just use the cash-ins, because why not? We have the copper, and then the copper, and then the copper. Oh, yes. For the sake of my sanity, I'm probably just gonna use the energy potion, right? No, we'll do this crazily, but I will, I guess, just skip forward until we have the Tunic charge. Well, actually, no. We'll do it this way, right? I'm just going to put manual mode on. So again, we're basically just waiting till we have the charge for Tunic before we play everything. So it'd be +1, right? And then we get to play a tome. I'm very curious, is there a way to put a card in the arsenal from here? Because there was the remove arsenal, right? But either way, I don't need the life if we have the resources, or we don't have the action points, so I guess we are passing. Pass. Arsenal another tome. Take the damage. Again, imagine Tunic is up. Let's display another tome. And then it would be the same thing for the gold token as well, right? So every 3 turns, we're generating enough resources to have another card. And then, unfortunately, it's the same for the strategic plannings. Now, strategic planning is also very important. So strategic planning has that clause at the beginning of the end phase, draw a card, meaning that it restocks itself, right? You get 1 card back from playing it, but then we also get to put a tome of Fairendale back into the deck, although at the bottom, right? So in the case of Wizard with Seer Stone, you can actively sift through your deck if it's predominantly blue till you find the tomes once again, right? And continue to play them. So every 3 turns, gaining 1 extra card. So basically, you can't play the blue strategic planning since tome has a 1 cost, but you can get 6 more tomes, and then through Remembrance, another 9 tomes, meaning that you can get an extra 15 cards through that shenanigans. Since we have the gold as well, we can generate an extra 6 cards. So altogether, that's an extra 21 cards on top of the hand that we already have. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, for a total of 38 cards. Yeah. That is pretty much insanity. Again, for Kano and maximum Blazing Aether damage, 38 is more than you need. You need 33 pitchable cards to play every consecutive copy of Blazing Aether. Granted that the way you're cycling Blazing Aether is through the Remembrance and the strategic planning, but you can definitely cut the difference. And I've theory crafted it at 21 Blazing Aethers, which would still be an exuberant amount of damage. But I will play through and we will draw again using the cheaty ways. It's awfully slow, so bear with me. So again, with the gold, you'd activate the Tunic, you'd get the resource that would allow you to play 2 gold per titanium bubble, if it wants to load, or it might have crashed by now. I don't want to pitch another card. This has happened before. Is it going to give me it back? It does. Alright, so gold, pitch, pass, draw a card, right? And then the second gold is free, getting you 1 extra card, and we can, again, do that over and over again every 3 turns. So that would be another 5 resources worth, or an extra 15 turns in order to effectively go through the gold pile. Yeah. Draw, and then we'll pitch for the rest so it's accurate. Alright, so that's the extra card draw from that, leaving us with 7 cards. And then again, you would also wait for Tunic to be up in order to play strategic planning. So again, it would be another 15 turns in order to recycle all 3 times effectively. So again, strategic planning 1. They will have go again, so again, just upping the resources myself, doesn't really matter. Strategic planning, another tome, and then strategic planning. Now there's no more tomes in the graveyard, so again, you do it in 3 burst cycles. Titanium bubbles to the bottom of the deck, which means also that the, well, not that it matters, because again, we'd be waiting for Tunic to do it optimally, but the tomes aren't at the bottom. Strategic planning. Also, damage at this point is less relevant, because again, from this stage onwards, we just see a stone until we get the tomes back, right? So you don't even have to go that far, because the ponders will draw them. We just bottom everything until we see 1 tome, and then that will end up netting us the other 3. But again, it is still a lot of turns, right? Ugh. I mean, I'm cheating and we're already at turn 20, for reference. Take the damage. It shouldn't be too far away, though. See a stone. Oh, I should have counted. There's the first stone. But we do need to draw it, so you would have to see a stone into it anyway. Although, since we don't have the arsenal slot, I just realized we don't get to arsenal the tomes. That was a misplay, right? Because also at this point, we're never ever going to draw naturally through Intellect, so you don't actually have to arsenal a card until you get a card you want to arsenal. I'm curious by this button though, so I'm going to click it, and we're going to see, does this go to my hand or to the deck? Well, actually, you know, we have enough HP. Won't risk it. So again, you'd be using Tunic. You'd be using a free tome. You'd be drawing 2 more cards, and then you'd eventually want to strategic planning it back. We don't have an action. Never mind. Well, again, we're already taking it this far. We might as well. Strategic planning. Hit the tome. We've drawn the other 2 tomes anyway. So, you know what? Might as well. I'm just going to wait for the Tunic anyway. But I want to visually see the hand size, right? We all want to visually see the hand size. So, yeah. I'm going to play through this. I'm going to do it the cheaty way. But I still have to take turns to see a stone. Remember to Arsenal at this time. Then we get the life gain. But we are just going to cheat through it, even though I have Tunic up, right? So I'm just going to play all the tomes. I'm not going to worry about the life either. Already having a exuberant amount anyway. But with the strategic plannings out of the way, now we Remembrance. I don't even have enough cards in the deck, I just realized. We go tome, tome, tome. Action points, we'll see a stone anyway. Even with an 80 card deck, it's not enough. No, Arsenal. No, we got the Ponder, right? So it is a tome? Yeah. So we Arsenal the tome. And then we'd be able to play tome. Draw into the other 2 tomes. Arsenal it. Take damage. And then this tome would empty out our deck, unfortunately. Yeah, so this tome would get us 2 more cards, and then that would be 6 more, well, including itself. The loss of itself, I should say, right? So basically, again, right? 3 more tomes, 3 more tomes, 1 more tome, so that's 7 more tomes for 7 more cards into our already sized hand. So it'd be equivalent, what is that? DVR 027, hopefully that's correct. DVR 027. Big titanium bubble, please. Perfect. 1, 2. Alright, you have to retype it in every time. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So again, at this stage, if you were Kano, right? Brainstorm would be 2 cards. You'd play Brainstorm, you need 1 card to pitch, right? So if you played all 3, that'd be -6 to your hand. So 4, 5, 6. That still leaves you with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Right, so 32 cards. You'd then be able to luck 3 times and Hope Merchant Sword once. So it'd be 4 by 32 by 3. And I need a calculator. Equals, what did I say? 4 by 3, right? You'd be able to shuffle and draw 4 times, deal 3 damage each draw by... Oh god, did I say 32? 32 feels right. I feel like our hand's 38, right? So that would be 384 damage. That would be the starting point for Blazing Aether. In terms of then Blazing Aether, the idea would be to just use Kano and button mash Kano. So the problem with that is Remembrance would be another -3 cards. So for instance, we had 32 cards left. We can comfortably work out how many is actually playable, right? So if every Remembrance you take out is a -3 cards, so that would be -9 cards, puts us to 23 cards, right? And 9 extra Blazing Aethers, but 12 Blazing Aethers currently. If you took out the strategic plannings, you'd still have access to the blue strategic planning, right? So you'd be able to, it'd be 3 cards for strategic planning and 4 cards for pitching. Each one would be 4, would be 12. Yeah, so to play them all would be 4 cards. So, God. You'd be able to, from that, Blazing Aether 15 times off of 23 cards. 23 cards. If you took out the other 6 strategic plannings, you'd be able to Kano 21 times for 17 cards, if I've done that right. And then 17 by 3 gets us 51 resources, and that doesn't work out. If you had the energy potions, if I didn't waste them, possibly, you'd have an extra 6 resources. Each stage of planning is 4 resources. No, but you'd want them. No, yeah, you'd want them in hand because then they're only 1 resource instead of 4, right? Which is still better because instead of pitching 2, you're only pitching 1 for 3. Either way, 38 cards is feasible for every single hero in the game. Takes you a lot more cards than you have access to, and takes you a lot more turns than you'd feasibly have access to. That's the main takeaway, in all honesty, from this, right? You can stall out with Tunic, and you can squeeze every bit of value out of every card in the game. But where do you go from there, right? Aside from Kano, there's not really any combos that call for that excessive level. I mean, Melody with Final Act, maybe, or Enigma with 3 visits. No, not 3 visits. What's the other one? No, it is 3 visits. Yeah, with 3 visits. Anyway, we'll leave it there. There you go. Optimized generic draw package. Again, more cards than Constructed allows, and that's just the draw package. Hope you enjoyed. See ya.